Hello, everybody. Pollyanna Brown here, the Biz Fairy Godmother, and I am your resident PR and messaging and storytelling expert. And I've got my amazing and beautiful business partner with me, Susan Kate, who is an amazing, absolutely phenomenal business coach and funnels and cash infusions and systems specialist who, oh my God, let me tell you, this woman has changed my absolute life and business with her simple systems. So today, sorry, I got hair all over because I went walking today.
Between us, we're always going to have this problem.
Right?
Redheads.
Redhead, big hair, sisters. That's pretty much how it goes over here.
Yep.
So today, what we're going to talk to you guys about are the top 3 mistakes that online business owners make that really kill their sales. And these are the 3 secrets that you're probably not expecting. So I can't wait to dive in with you. Susan, is there anything that you want to say before we get going?
Nope, absolutely not.
Awesome. So the very first mistake, which I would even venture to say is the most important mistake on this list, is doing correct target market research. So
notice she said correct.
Correct.
I want you to pay attention to that word there, okay?
Absolutely. So you all know that target market research is important for your business, but you also probably know that it can suck a little bit, right? It's painful. And so we really avoid it. And the other thing is we tend to not understand how important it really is. So target market research is really the foundation of any business, especially yours, because if you don't know what your people want, you can't deliver it. So it really affects sales in a huge way, as well as client satisfaction, client loyalty, and the growth of your community. So this isn't just a one-size-fits-all problem. It affects every single area of your business. So the first thing, you are told all the time you need to do target market research, but you're not usually told how to do it the right way. So there are a lot of ways to do target market research, and what people usually focus on are the secondary methods, right? Surveys, text-based things, posts that you put on social media to get responses. Those are all secondary methods, which are okay. It's better than nothing, right? But it's not the most effective, and it's not the most clear or the most potent to actually get you to the point where you're delivering things that your clients can't live without, that they really are ready to buy now. And that's the key to target market research, is finding out the things that your clients not only desire, but what they're willing to spend money on today, whether or not they think they have the money. When you give them an offer based on your target market research, they find it. So it's really powerful. So that is the secret number 1, the mistake number 1 that goes wrong in businesses all the time that really hampers sales. Sue, do you want to tell them about mistake number 2?
Actually, I'm going to pipe in here on target market research and give an analogy. Okay, so let's say that you sold steaks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is how important target market research is. Let's say you sold steaks. Now, they could be the absolute best steaks in the world, right? But if you are trying to sell them to vegans, it's not going to work. And if if you didn't do your target market research and you didn't find out what your demographic wanted, and you're trying to sell them something, a lot of times people assume that it's a problem with their product or their service, when in fact it's a problem with their people. They didn't ask their people what they wanted. And every single time, Pollyanna and I have been studying this for quite some time, every single time we have seen something tank. We've seen a course tank. We've seen sales not made. We've had people in tears. We have asked, did you do your target market research? When they said, a lot of times they said no, they guessed, okay? But when they said, yes, that they did, and we asked them, well, how did you do it? We found major holes within that target market research. So, I mean, literally, this is the foundation that pretty much all of your sales are going to sit on. What you have could be absolutely phenomenal, but if your people don't want it, you're not going to sell it. So definitely give them what they want. Don't guess. Ask them what they want and then create it rather than creating it and trying to find someone to sell it to. Okay, so on that note, it's a great segue into section number 2. All right, so mistake number 2 is your client awareness, right? This is also another really big issue. It is not knowing how aware your client is on their problems. So there's basically, let's simplify this, there's basically 3 levels. There's level number 1, these are the most aware people. These are the people who are aware of their symptoms, they're aware of their problems, and they're also aware that there's a solution for it. So they're actively out there looking for a solution, and this is where the decision would be made, let's say, just between 2 brands or between 2 programs. Then there are people who are aware of their problem and their symptoms, but not necessarily about a solution. This is where you have to kind of educate them before you present your solution. And then there are people who are completely unaware, right? They may be aware of their symptoms. They probably don't even know that they have a problem, and they are definitely not aware of the fact that there's a solution out there. You have to talk to these 3 people completely different, and we see people messing this up all the time. Like using industry terms that they may not know, assuming that they know jargon, right? So I'll give you a perfect example. When I was looking to get back into shape, I kept seeing in my newsfeed all the time this word, are you in ketosis? Ketosis, ketosis, ketones, ketones, ketosis. And because I wasn't aware of what it was that ketosis was, I thought it was a location, right? That's horrible to admit, but I thought it was a location, right? Because I was aware of my symptoms, wasn't happy the way my clothes were looking. I was aware of my problem, definitely needed to get back into shape, but I was not aware of the specific solutions that were out there. And once I was educated on what ketosis was, then I went and bought it from that person. We see this all the time, speaking above your client's awareness, speaking above their understanding. What you're better off doing is speaking to the lowest level of client awareness, because those people are going to stick around, right? And they're just going to keep reading. And then educating the mid-tier, right? And then you can present the solution for the top tier. This is a horrible mistake that we see people making all the time. And now that you've seen this, what you're going to see in your newsfeed is ketosis, 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 and you're going to realize just exactly how detrimental this can be to your sales. So, do you have anything to add to that?
I think you really covered it. That's the biggest thing. One little added bonus from a messaging perspective. You are always so much more aware of the intricacies and the intimacies of your language than your audience ever will be, because you understand it fully. And so your brain will automatically fill in the details. It will be so clear to you, but you have to take a step back and say, is this going to make sense to someone who's never heard of this before, right? Who is my ideal audience? They are the people I'm trying to reach, but they don't understand this word or this language. And it would be even a great idea. I'm actually going to give you an action step. Separate out industry language from plain language. Now, we're not talking about talking down to people. We're not talking about dumbing it down. No. What we're talking about is making it so clear it's easy to understand. And that's where the magic is in your messaging, because if it's not clear, people aren't spending money on it, because a lack of clarity equals a lack of tangibility. And if there's no tangibility to what you offer, people aren't going to spend money on it. So it's really important that you take the extra time. It's not long. It's not long at all. Take the extra couple minutes to separate out your industry jargon from the other words that are really clear, really tangible, that your audience will easily identify. So
that they also use.
Absolutely. Anytime you get to use the words of your audience, the words that are in their head, that just, oh my gosh, it supercharges your sales. So don't be afraid to use simpler language because it's more clear. You don't have to be clever. People aren't going to hire you because they think that you are the most beautiful wordsmith in the world. And we can get lost in that cleverness. But a lot of times that cleverness lacks the clarity we really desire to give to our people, because it's only with clarity that people make the best decisions for themselves. So you want to give your people the most that you can for them to make a healthy, powerful, positive decision for themselves, which is usually working with you. So that's my little add-on there.
That's number 2.
Yes.
What have we got for number 3?
For number 3, we've got not knowing where your clients are hanging out. And we see this all the time. I cannot tell you, oh my God, honey, I cannot tell you how often I've had people tell me my clients aren't online. My ideal clients aren't online.
Yes.
Yes. And we've had to giggle a couple times.
Unless you probably come from an Aboriginal tribe somewhere in some remote place, okay? Your clients are online, okay?
Yes.
So unless that's your demographic and like they're deep in the Amazon or Africa or someplace, and believe me, I have been there. I went looking for those people. I know where they live. But unless that is your target market, your people are online. I promise you.
Absolutely. And so it's really important to not make those kinds of assumptions, right? And this is another part, it harkens back to target market research, right? And here's a great example, the word hearken. That's a terrible word for your audience, right? It's a word I use all the time because I'm just hella crazy like that.
Because you're Pollyanna.
Yeah, I use that kind of language in my daily, but my audience doesn't, right? So clarify, make it, powerful for them. So for my audience, I need to tell them this goes back to, right? This goes back to target market research. Because in your target market research, your people are going to tell you where they're hanging out online. And it's not always going to be what you expect. The answer is not always going to be Facebook, right? And it's not always going to be Twitter or Instagram. Sometimes you're going to find some really amazing gems in message boards.
I was going to say, especially if you work with a sensitive subject. Because
yes.
There's one reason why message boards work really well. If you work with a sensitive subject around, let's say, weight or marriage issues or sexuality or something that people don't necessarily want to talk about, and it's because they can be anonymous.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is you'll get a lot of really great target market research from those places. So message boards are one of, Sue will tell you, it's one of my absolute favorite places to get target market research and mingle with the people, to find people to actually speak to and talk to, because they feel so free to actually tell you what's really going on, what they really think, what they really feel, right? And that's priceless. Not to mention, there are some really great ways to advertise in those spaces.
Yes, there is.
So that's pretty amazing.
There's a common thread here among all 3 points that we brought up, and it comes down to knowing your person, because you cannot give them any greater honor than really getting to know somebody and locating them and getting to the language in their head. And then translating that into how it pertains to how your product or service can solve their struggle. When that magic happens, people read your sales page or they listen to your pitch and they just come alive. They're like, oh my God, that's me. And oh my gosh, she understands me. And she has a solution for me. And oh my gosh, like you're showing them the difference between Pain City and Pleasure City, and how your products can get them there. And that takes a really deep understanding of your person. And unfortunately, people are not taught to do this the right way. And if you don't do this the right way, nothing else you do matters.
It is the difference between, in case you haven't heard, this is the backstory. Love languages. There are 5 predominant love languages. This goes back to a book called The 5 Love Languages. Okay. And if you are not speaking to someone's primary or secondary love language, they can feel very isolated, very alone, and your communication breaks down significantly. So for example, for me, I am physical touch, quality time, and words of affirmation. Those are the things that really make me feel loved. If you show up and give me a present, yeah, I'm going to be thankful, but I'm not going to assume that that's love, right?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Now, I always end up with men that want to give gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, 5 minutes with some beautiful words and a hug would have done a much better job than, let's say, that diamond ring. I'm serious. Like, and people who gifts are their primary love language, they can't imagine somebody coming to say sorry without a gift.
Mm-mm.
Say I love you. You could say, like, give you big hugs. You could say the most. They could have written like an award-winning poem to say sorry. But if you didn't rock up with a gift, you're not impacting them.
Absolutely. And that's what you're doing with target market research. Don't think about it as research or another thing you have to do in your business. Think about it as loving your people enough to speak their love language so that you can actually help them. Because when your people feel understood, right, when they feel completely taken care of, they make leaps and bounds progress working with you because they trust you. It's the quickest way to build trust.
Buy stuff they don't even need. They will buy stuff they don't even need if they feel like you get them. They just want to be a part of anything that you put out. When you feel understood by somebody, you gravitate towards them. These are the people that will become your raving fans and will buy stuff that seriously they don't even need. They just become these hyper buyers, right? And there's honestly because in life, let's face it, guys, most people don't even get asked how their day was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? People are extremely lonely and increasingly disconnected in the noise of the online world. When there's one person, it could be digital, you could have never met. It doesn't matter. They could have never seen your face. They just heard your voice or read your sales page or got on a phone call with you. If they feel like you get them and you acknowledge them and you understand their pain, you will have raving fans for life. And that is the basis. That is the difference between people who struggle to make sales. I have seen the most phenomenal programs out there, like mind-blowing, that didn't sell.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't understand their people. They were in the wrong room, like trying to sell meat to a vegan, okay? And they spoke above their clients' awareness, like ketosis, which I thought was like somewhere in the US, right? It totally did. And it's the most phenomenal course. But because they didn't hit these 3 important things, the course bombed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've seen subpar programs, which were a little, I've seen them completely sell out because they nailed making their ideal client feel listened to, understood, connected, right? They just excelled at that magic factor, that it factor, which again, all comes back to target market research, which client awareness is a part of.
Absolutely. And this does not matter if you are a 7-figure business owner or brand new. If you have not done the target market research to actually fulfill your client's desires and needs, it's not going to sell.
Holly and I do target market research a little bit different. We teach it a little bit different because it has such a negative feeling for people, right? Most people are like, oh shit, target market research, not again. I did it. I asked 3 questions 2 years ago. I'm done, right? We approach it a little bit differently, and we have realized, and we've been doing case studies and studying the online world for well over a year now and just seeing where people fall through the cracks. Target market research is a big one, guys.
Yeah.
So we have actually realized that people are not teaching other people how to do this the right way, in a way that gets results. And one of the best ways that you could teach somebody to do something is to make it fun. Because when people are having fun, they're more willing to do it. So we actually teach it a little bit different, right? And we actually created a masterclass on teaching you guys how to do correct target market research. So I'm going to give it over to Polly to read that link because I can't see that on my page.
That's all good. I also put it in the comments for you guys. It's m4businessmastery.com/TM webinar registration. So if you go to the comments, you can just go ahead and click that link and you will save your seat for our presentation in teaching you how to do this. We're actually going to take you through the process, the step-by-step process, how to do this and how to enjoy it along the way so that you can actually make more sales and have a much better understanding of your people along the way. So we're gonna actually teach you the step-by-step process, no fluff, no BS. We're teaching you how to do it live and giving you some special goodies that you'll only find about once you join so that you can actually put this into practice in your business. We're gonna give you implementation steps as well. So join us for that training. It's going live on Friday. We have 2 times available. So we're doing 1 p.m. Eastern, that's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we're also doing 5 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. Likewise, if you are catching this on the replay, we would love to hear from you. We always come back and answer all of the questions that we get. So feel free to put your questions in the comments below, and we are happy to answer them.
Yeah, and we apologize. We had a little bit of a technical issue this morning. Our original broadcast that we told everybody about got canceled because we had a tech issue and we didn't get on time. So I know there aren't that many of you on right now, because this is a later broadcast than originally planned. But again, if you are seeing it in the replay, we promise we'll get to every single question if you want to put it in the box.
Awesome. It looks like we don't have any questions for now, so we are going to send you lots of love. We hope to see you on the masterclass. It's going to be phenomenal. Please don't miss it. And we will talk to you really soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.